Hello friends and welcome back to my 2016 Game of the Year Awards extravaganza. Each day I'll be celebrating a variety of my favourite things in video games from the past 12 months. We've made it to day 3, so here are another 4 categories to talk about, each containing 4 nominees, one of which I will name as the winner. Of course these are all just my own personal opinions, but if you'd like to share your picks in the comments I would love to hear them. That's more than enough explanation for now, so let's give out some awards. Best Looking Game. Ratchet & Clank. I've always been a huge fan of the Ratchet & Clank art style, and Insomniac have really made it shine on the PS4 hardware. From the lush tropical resorts on Poketaro, to the sandshark infested deserts of Iridia, to the Gadgetron headquarters on Kalibo 3, Ratchet & Clank sees you traverse a wide array of spectacular landscapes and engage in explosive battles. Every weapon in your arsenal has been lovingly crafted for maximum visual impact, and there's a gleefulness to the sheer levels of destruction as bolts, gunk and spare parts are sent spraying everywhere. Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE. Working with the Wii U hardware means having to compensate for less raw back-end oomph with a strong art style. Tokyo Mirage Sessions cranks up the anime slider to maximum with strong, clean character designs, flashy animations, and bright, colourful environment and UI design. Small touches like having large crowds made up of simple neon-coloured outlines shows off Atlus's ability to find really smart ways to work within available technology and still come up with an end product which stands out visually. Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. Leave it to chipper adventure boy Nathan Drake to haul his game through the uncanny valley with barely a scratch. Not only are Uncharted 4's environments some of the prettiest around, but its character animation conveys nuance and emotion more convincingly than the likes of LA Noire and Until Dawn, with no notably unsettling side effects. That's not to gloss over the environments though, A Thief's End is a staggeringly good looking trot around the globe, with even the muddy plains of Madagascar and the rain-soaked graveyards of Scotland managing to make me stop and stare in wonder. The Witness. When you're asked to spend dozens of hours walking around an island and solving grid-based puzzles, it's important that the island is a place you actually enjoy being, and it certainly doesn't hurt that The Witness puts you in a picturesque, colourful paradise fitted with a rainbow of diverse miniature biomes to stroll between. Just wandering across the island is a pleasure, and the careful placement of objects to draw your eye to just the right location or line up in a precise fashion is an incredible feat. Not only is the visual design of The Witness striking, but in many cases it's key to your progress, and yet it never comes across as artificial or forced. Traditionally, I'm usually one to favour a unique art style over technical prowess, but Uncharted 4 is just so gorgeous that I cannot pass it up here. There were multiple times where the game took my breath away with just how good it looked, but the really noticeable thing was that it was capable of hitting those notes not just with grand environments and set pieces, but also with smaller character-driven scenes. Performance capture has been a staple of the franchise since its inception, and it really hits some new highs with The Thief's End. Some of the game's most memorable moments, such as the dinner scene in Chapter 4, only work as well as they do because characters move and emote in such a believable human way. Uncharted 4 has far more than just character moments up its sleeve, however. Whether you're exploring clock towers in Madagascar, traipsing between desert islands with Sam, cluttering around in the darkness of a musty old mansion, or clambering up sheer cliffs in a rainstorm as only Nate can, this is absolutely one of the finest looking games on any system.
Now you know everything.
With you, I doubt that that's everything.
Most eSports. Righto, just a quick note for this category that it includes games released before 2016, as we're just talking about the most entertaining games to watch be played on a competitive level over the past 12 months. Clash Royale. I was already surprised quite how good Clash Royale's multiplayer was, but I was even more shocked at how compelling it could be as a viewing experience as well. With tournaments all being played using matching level cards, any slight imbalances caused from players having invested more time or money in the game is removed, leaving only individual skill and deck building behind. It's fascinating to watch the metagame shift in the way many full-scale strategy games do, with certain styles of deck moving in and out of popularity as people come up with new ways to efficiently counter the fashionable cards. Dota 2. Alright, let's not beat around the bush here. Dota 2 is coming into this category on a 3-year winning streak. As if that wasn't enough, 2016 proved to be another outstanding year for Valve's lane-pushing hero scrapper, with the prize pool for this year's International reaching a record $20,770,460. The tournament itself featured not only some of the most exciting games imaginable, but also the widest range of utilised heroes yet. This year also saw the introduction of the VR viewing client, offering up even more new ways to watch. Rocket League. Rocket League is one of the games which most resembles a traditional sport without actually being a simulation, so it's unsurprising that it makes for a great spectator experience. With a wide player base and that anyone can win on the day style that makes competitions in Rocket League just as unpredictable as real-world football tournaments, it's still one of the most entertaining games to watch. Plus there's ample opportunity to see players far better than you soaring around and pinging in incredible goals in ways you'll spend months afterwards trying and failing to emulate. Street Fighter V. It might have been lacking in a variety of ways, but Street Fighter V absolutely lives up to the reputation of the series when it comes to competitive matches. After 8 years of incredible Street Fighter 4 tournaments, it feels nice to finally hit the reset button and watch the pros get to grips with a brand new game. Street Fighter V shifts away from the complex FADCs and one-frame links of its predecessor in favour of a focus on spacing and footsies. It's so satisfying to see the pros go to work, and watching Infiltration's masterclass to come out ahead at EVO was an absolute blast. There's some of the toughest competition yet for its crown this year, yet when its back was up against the wall, Dota 2 came out swinging. The way TI 2016 wrapped up couldn't have been much more intense and dramatic than it ended up, with favourites going out early to underdogs and the closing showdown ultimately featuring a rather surprise matchup. One team, Digital Chaos, had somewhat of a fairy tale story, having been formed mere days before roster locks occurred after surprise changes left players without a team and DC being written off by its founder. Yet this team of rejects overcame returning champions Evil Geniuses in a spectacular Game 3 to secure their place in the final. Their opponents, Chinese team Wings Gaming, was formed back in 2014. After some initial shuffles, they actually became one of the most stable teams around. Despite some stutters on their way through qualifying and in the group stage, Wings delivered a staggering performance in the finals, only dropping 2 games, both to eventual runners-up DC. So congratulations to the team of Shadow, Blink, Faithbian, Ice and Innocence on their big win, and congratulations once again to Dota 2. Best Mechanics. Darkest Dungeon. At the core of Darkest Dungeon's mechanics lies the old Lovecraftian trope of horrors so unimaginable that the mere sight of them causes you to question your core understanding of reality. It's not all old gods here by any means, but the way your adventurers develop fears, paranoia, madness, jealousy and more based on their experiences exploring the depths is an incredibly smart, if sometimes maddening, mechanic. Having to balance the risks and rewards of sending unstable party members out or attempting some of the more unconventional treatments is brilliantly terrifying and tonally spot on. Doom. Initially, Doom's glory kills seemed like a fun novelty, but something which you'd quickly tire of. In fact, glory kills play a core part of Doom's combat ballet. Each encounter requires you to carefully manage your resources. Low on health, a glory kill should get you right back into the swing of things. Running short on ammo, whip out that chainsaw and you'll be swimming in rounds in no time. That core balance is already great, but the upgrades and runes you choose to invest in allow you to then further customise to your strengths to suit your preferred playstyle. Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE. TMS is a game which is packed chock full of interesting ideas. At its core lie some very familiar systems, but Atlus really built around their basic mechanics in some very interesting ways. The sessions, which give the game its name, are the real star here, allowing characters to chain lengthy combinations of attacks together by exploiting enemy weaknesses. It's a mechanic which adds a whole new layer of depth to move selection during battles and even affects the skills you choose to learn as you level up. The Witness. So, is the whole game just drawing lines? The answer is yes, but the ways in which The Witness expands one simple mechanic out to one of the most innovative and entertaining puzzle games I've played in years is sublime. It slowly teaches you about each new area's tricks and notation in an incredibly intuitive fashion. Any of my remaining doubts melted away as the game started to blend those methods together in ever more baffling ways, something that only really works because of Jonathan Blow's complete commitment to the bit. Ultimately, it's the sessions which win the day here, because as well as providing interesting tactical decisions, they're just super cool to watch. But Tokyo Mirage Sessions continues to build on those combat mechanics in interesting ways over the course of the game. Special performances act as your super moves, using a resource you build during sessions to unleash devastating skills capable of completely turning the tide of battle. ad-lib performances are enhanced variants of your regular skills which have a small chance to occur when you use an appropriate move and will heavily increase its potency. Dual arts, perhaps the most useful set of abilities, see two characters team up mid-session for incredibly powerful duo attacks that come with a wealth of additional benefits as well as having the potential to dramatically lengthen your current session chain. As if that wasn't enough, not only do all of TMS's mechanics add a ton of depth to its systems, they're all accompanied by charming, stylish and funny sequences, each featuring their own special outfits, songs and routines based on the events which unlocked the skill in question. Best moment or sequence. Spoiler warning time. Somewhat unsurprisingly, this one's going to be getting into specifics. Specifically for Dark Souls 3, Pokémon Go, Uncharted 4 and The Witness. So if you want to duck out on today's last award for now, then thanks for watching and I'll catch you next episode. Otherwise, onwards we go. Dark Souls 3, Untended Graves. There are a ton of great moments in Dark Souls 3, but for me, nothing else was quite so striking as when you discover a hidden path deep below Lothric Castle, which closely resembles the game's starting zone. Defeating a champion version of the opening boss leads you to a shadowy, quiet Firelink shrine, where you find the mysterious Eyes of a Firekeeper, a forbidden item which allows you to head down one of the game's alternate ending routes and hints at answers to some questions while posing more along the way as only Dark Souls can. Pokémon Go, the first month. There have been a few moments throughout my life when a game became such a cultural phenomenon that it blended into the real world and you'd overhear passers-by having conversations about it, but none have been so dramatically all-encompassing as the initial launch window of Pokémon Go. Everywhere you went, from towns to parks to bars to backstreets, people were playing and chatting excitedly with strangers about this simple little game. It was a joy seeing a franchise so dear to my childhood bring entire communities together in its own special way, if only for a month or so. Uncharted 4, A Normal Life. For all of its cartoonish scale and spectacle, the most powerful moment of Uncharted 4 is a quiet scene which takes place early on. Back from another day in his normal, non-threatening job, Nathan browses his memorabilia before wandering downstairs for dinner with Elena. It's a perfect showcase of how far Naughty Dog's performance capture has come, and alongside some great writing and performances, captures the moment in a genuinely natural feeling manner. The throwback to Crash is a great touch too, but it's the emotional setup for the game to come which really makes this stand out. The Witness, Environmental Puzzles. The Witness is a game entirely about drawing lines. You move from panel to panel, musing over each puzzle for a while, either solving it or moving on. Then, something catches your eye. That bridge, that plough, that pipe, standing just here at this angle, it almost looks like it could be one of the puzzles itself. And that's a neat bit of world design, but what if I were to try and trace it? Suddenly, the Witness changes forever. Suddenly, this gorgeous island is no longer merely a setting for these puzzles, it is itself one of your toughest challenges yet. For a game to almost completely rely on the player to discover one of its core mechanics, perhaps even its most interesting one, without any real prompting, is a bold step. But it pays off, because realising the true nature of the Witness's Island feels genuinely special, something that will likely happen slightly differently for every player. That means some people might catch on straight away, while others could make it dozens of hours deep and never even think to try it. The game only slightly tips its hand at one point, upon reaching the top of the mountain where a lonely sign happens to echo the shape of the river winding down the mountainside beneath your feet. For me, I happened to be exploring the desert area when some choice reflections caught my attention. The moment itself is already special, but it's made even better by the implementation of the tracing, with a momentous boom as you designate your starting point and a sizzling hum as your sparkling line etches its way across the landscape. Then, as you hit the button to complete your solution, the sparkles whoosh their way through the air and settle on a nearby obelisk saved for your collection. It makes you feel incredible. You are the chosen one, the puzzle wizard. And that wraps up the awards for Day 3. Be sure to come back for Day 4 where I'll be talking about my favourite sound design, the game I most wish I'd spent more time with, the game related show I loved most last year, and the title whose story and writing compelled me the most. Thank you for joining me, and be sure to let me know what you thought of the video and if you agreed with my choices, or what you would have picked instead, in the comments section below. Have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers!